These 8 self-love habits changed my life, and they have the potential to change yours too. If you're new here, welcome. Here on this channel we talk about self-love, mindset mastery, and building unshakable self-confidence. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe. The first self-love habit that changed my life is challenging my inner critic. Now, before I share with you my story, let's talk about what your inner critic really is. Your inner critic is that constant negative voice on the back of your head that's saying mean things to you. It's the internalized voice of a critical parent, teacher, or primary caretaker. It's not you. Now, I struggled with my negative self-talk for years and found it quite difficult to challenge the constant mind chatter because I used to see it as a part of myself, until I realized that most of the things it said about me were actually not true, and the same applies to you. I want you to think about the most repetitive negative thoughts that are going through your mind on a daily basis, the ones that are really bothering you. The more you listen to these negative thoughts on a daily basis, the more they turn into negative beliefs you have about yourself. And here's the kicker. All these thoughts are doing are trying to protect you, but unfortunately keep you stuck. So what can you do about them? I want you to pay close attention to the thoughts that are going through your mind without judging them. Get curious. Where are they coming from? Why are they coming up right now? Do they remind you of a particular situation from the past? Now, if you want to take it a step further, you can also give your inner critic a name. This will help you detach yourself from it and take it less seriously. Challenging my inner critic is still something I do every single day. The thing about personal development is that there is always something to learn and improve about yourself. This doesn't mean you're broken or there's anything wrong with you. It only means that negative thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are bound to happen sometimes. The important thing is to be aware of them and have good habits in place that will put you back on track. The second self-love habit that changed my life is embracing my emotions instead of suppressing them. I used to dread facing my emotions because I viewed them as a sign of weakness. As a highly sensitive person who got bruised easily, I had to develop this tough girl act to protect myself from getting hurt. It took me many years to realize that showing vulnerability and embracing my emotions only made me stronger. The funny thing is that I didn't trust myself to feel these emotions. I couldn't let them come to the surface. I felt like they would completely consume me and I wouldn't be able to handle them. Turns out, I just didn't know how to create a safe place for myself to express them. I didn't know that hugging yourself was not a sign of weakness, but a way to show yourself some grace and self-compassion. It never occurred to me that breathing slowly and deeply and letting them pass through my body without resisting them would actually solve that problem. So here's what I want you to do if you're struggling with facing your emotions. Next time you feel the wave of emotion rising up, I want you to set aside at least 10 minutes of your time throughout the day. Find a quiet place at home where you would be alone and won't be disturbed for a few minutes. Sit with your back straight in a comfortable position, or lie down on a flat surface and close your eyes. Now take a deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Feel your body relaxing and sinking into the surface that you're sitting on, as you're gently noticing the movement of your breath every time you inhale and exhale. Now I want you to notice what's going on in your body. What emotions are most prominent? Try to notice all the unpleasant sensations. Do you feel any pain, tightness, or nervousness? Are some body parts stiffer than others? Is there an underlying feeling that you can pinpoint? Breathe through them. If any negative emotion wants to come to the surface, don't try to escape it. Let it pass through your body without resisting it. See your negative thoughts and sensations for what they truly are: transient, temporary, repetitive. Let them pass through your body, no matter how unpleasant they feel at the time. If you have trouble separating yourself from your emotions and seeing them from a distance, start labeling them each time they come up. Whenever you notice a thought or a negative emotion passing through your body, just label it in your mind by saying, "This is just an emotion." Continue this awareness meditation for a few minutes. When you're ready, open your eyes and look around. Then gently move your arms and legs. This is a powerful way to become aware of your emotions. Breathe through them and let them go. Don't get discouraged if it doesn't happen right away. It took me quite a while to be able to sit with my emotions without trying to escape them, but it definitely got easier in time. The third self-love habit that changed my life is taking better care of myself. This might seem like an obvious one, but I found it quite difficult to take care of myself, especially since I had no idea how to do it. Self-care wasn't something that I grew up with, because I prided myself on taking care of everyone else around me. The thing is, by not taking care of myself, I was also depriving the people around me of the most relaxed, authentic, and fun-loving version of myself. When I neglected my needs and didn't properly take care of myself physically, mentally, and spiritually, I felt exhausted, overwhelmed, and bitter. I started to get cranky over little things. I was prone to self-criticism, and that also impacted my relationships as I was quite judgmental towards others. So how did I start taking better care of myself? And what can you do if you want to step up your self-care routine? Honestly, I just found things that made me happy and made me feel good about myself. Whenever I felt like I was slacking on my health, appearance, or well-being, I took a note of it and did something about it. For example, if you don't sleep enough at night and you're noticing that it's impacting your health, mood, and even relationships, think of 1 or 2 things that you can do in the opposite direction. Watch 1 episode of your favorite TV show instead of 2, or pick up the habit of meditating before going to bed instead of scrolling on your phone. Or if you're not consistent with your skincare, think of a way to make it more fun and entertaining. Couple it up with a fun video of your favorite YouTuber, or listen to some energetic music in the morning while you're getting ready for the day. Self-care looks different for each and every one of us. So I encourage you to notice in which areas of your life you feel like you're slacking the most, and how you're neglecting yourself right now so that you can make some positive changes. The fourth self-love habit that changed my life is setting healthy boundaries. One of the most important things you can do is learn how to stand up for yourself and set healthy boundaries. For the longest time, I associated saying no with being a selfish person. But the truth is that saying no to some things actually meant saying yes to things that were better suited for me. The moment I stopped seeing setting healthy boundaries as something inherently bad, I started respecting myself more, and that greatly impacted my relationships with others. Here's the thing. When you say no, you show others where you stand, what's important to you, and where you draw the line between what's appropriate and what doesn't resonate with you. By saying no without feeling guilty, you will achieve 2 things. 1, other people will know that you're not a pushover. And 2, you will feel better about yourself. So what can you do to start the process of setting healthy boundaries with others? Follow these 3 simple steps. 1, be firm but polite. 2, don't over-explain yourself. And 3, make a counteroffer. I go way more in depth in the Healthy Boundaries Blueprint, which is an exclusive bonus in the Self-Love Toolkit. You can learn more at www.theselflovetoolkit.com. The next self-love habit that changed my life is reframing the way I see myself. One of my core toxic beliefs was that I was a bad person. For you, it might be something else. But what matters is that these negative beliefs are just a bunch of negative thoughts that you repeated to yourself throughout your life, to the point of making them a part of your identity. Listen, the good news is that you can reframe the way you see yourself. The bad news is that it's gonna take a bit of effort on your part. So what can you do to reframe the way you see yourself? You can gather some evidence to prove the opposite of what you think of yourself right now. What do I mean by this? Well, let's say you struggled with the same negative toxic belief as I did. I'm a bad person. First, I want you to question this belief and its validity, so it's easier to reframe it. Who told you that you're a bad person? What does a bad person even mean? Can you at least entertain the idea that you're not a bad person, but maybe a regular person who did something bad? Pay attention to the thoughts that are going through your mind. Remember the first habit I mentioned about your inner critic? You're probably going to hear that negative inner chatter right now. Don't challenge it right away, just observe it. Okay. Next, I want you to think of some things that prove you're a good person. For example, have you ever taken care of a sick loved one, helped a stranger on the street, comforted one of your friends, fed your pet, etc.? We often don't notice the nice things we do for others because we're too busy beating ourselves up over every little mistake. So I want you to flip the narrative in your favor and pay attention to all the good things you do on a daily basis. The more you focus on that, the more you're gonna act accordingly. And that will reframe the way you see yourself in time. The next self-love habit that changed my life is forgiving myself for past mistakes. Remember that whole I'm a bad person narrative I told you about? That also led me to feeling responsible for other people's feelings. Whenever someone around me was sad or angry, I felt like it was always my fault, so I internalized it as being bad, which meant I couldn't forgive myself each time I hurt someone unintentionally with my words or actions. Instead of leaving the past in the past, I constantly tortured myself by replaying old conversations in my head and trying to imagine how I could have prevented the fight from happening in the first place. It was always my fault, or so I thought. So how did I start the process of forgiving myself, and how can you do the same for you? by realizing that by not forgiving yourself, you're keeping yourself stuck in the past, and you're punishing yourself for something that has already happened over and over again, which makes it absolutely pointless. I go way more in depth in my video on how to stop hating yourself, so if you want to learn more, I will leave a link to it in the cards and also in the description box below. The seventh self-love habit that changed my life is discovering new things about myself. One of the easiest things you can slip into nowadays is boredom. When you do the same things over and over again and spend too much time on your phone or binging TV shows, you might feel a bit bored, sluggish, and not engaged in your own life. This also happened to me, and I realized that I had to switch everything off and put the focus back on myself. I started reflecting on the things I enjoyed, the hobbies and activities that made me light up from the inside, and started going out more, planning fun dates with my husband, and finding little things to appreciate about myself. The more you create a life you won't need an escape from, the more fun, exciting, new things you will discover about yourself. So my challenge for you is to think of trying something new this week. Doesn't matter if you've always wanted to try it or you've seen a friend of yours doing it. Whatever it is, don't postpone it. Schedule it in your calendar and do it this week. Variety is one of our inherent human needs, so it's important to make life fun and exciting for ourselves. After all, life is our own journey, and it's on us to make it as enjoyable as we can, and maybe also learn a thing or two about ourselves along the way. The next self-love habit that changed my life is daily journaling. I've always loved journaling since I was little, and even before I knew the term journaling even existed. I had this pile of notebooks that I loved to fill with short stories, poems, random thoughts, and dreams about the future. I actually lost my love for journaling in my 20s, but I picked it up in the past few years, and it really transformed my life. Journaling can be intimidating, especially if you're not used to writing a lot. But the thing almost no one tells you is that there is no right or wrong way to journal. The point of journaling is to get to know yourself better, see what you like, find out what you're excited to journal about, and what works for you. For me personally, answering thought-provoking questions worked the best. I found that it helped me get out of my head and stop overthinking so much. Here are some examples of journaling questions to get you started. 1. Who am I when no one's watching? 2. What roles do I play in my life? 3. What would the perfect day look like for me? 4. What are 3 things that I can let go of that no longer serve me? 5. In what ways am I trying to escape the present moment? All of these journaling prompts were directly taken from the Self-Love Toolkit, which is my proven step-by-step framework that will help you learn to love yourself unconditionally. If you want to take your self-love journey to the next level, this is the solution for you. Just click the first link in the description box below or head over to www.theselflovetoolkit.com. Now, when it comes to self-love habits, taking care of yourself plays a huge role. So if you want to learn 15 fun self-care ideas, check out this video next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in that video.